Sure, for unable to connect the chat. Why? Shalom Israel. Yahweh Shai Barakatam to my brothers. Yahweh Shammah Ilatan Barasham Yahweh Shai to my sisters. That's all. I.S.U.P.K. Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge started at 1 West. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. I.S.U.P.K. began 1969 and is run today by Commanding General YAHANNA, the only man with the rank and the authority to be Israel's leader at this time. You turn it on? So I'm going to hear it now, sir. I'll turn it on. Huh? It's not on, man.
Bluetooth mode.
You just turn it on. Check the echo. All right, with all that is happening in Israel today, both local and abroad, it appears as if locally police brutality is on the rise, or brutality from the state and the people is on the rise. It appears that way. Or maybe the news media have nothing else to report on, so they are just capturing police brutality. But right across Israel, right across the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians community, you'll find that brutality from the is on the rise. And this is coming at a time when we know that we are looking or are waiting for the freedom of our people from oppression, all kind of oppression. I mean, if we think we are free, but you won't know that you're not free until when you try to be in a position that appears to oppose one of your oppressor. Then you will see the fight you get, and you will realize that you are the underdog. And you also realize that you won't win. Then you will see that you are being oppressed. But, you know, most times if it doesn't, because that's what they want. The oppressor wants you to sit and do it, or go and work for it. They could not even turn it down when I go over. When you check our history, no, you can't close them. Can't close them. We need it here. when you check our history, our record, you see that whoever is oppressing Israel, whoever is oppressing these Israelites, always try to kill them out. It still puzzles me to today. There was one time that they tried, they just slaughter at will, like today. You find that in the States, mainly in the States, you find that they just slaughter blacks, Hispanics, and natives at will. As if, even when they are on camera, it's like, hold on, get my best side, hold on. This is the photo side. That's what it appears with the couple who knelt in George Floyd's neck as if he was posing with his best side. But that's our life as a people. And you know that is caused by one main thing. Our rejection of the Most High. Alright, take me to Exodus chapter 3. Yes. Then Exodus and Genesis. Exodus 3, reading from 7 to 10. Really?
Chapter 3, verse 7.
You want to use the mic? Hold on. Okay.
Exodus chapter 3, verse 7. And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters. For I know their sorrows.
Alright, so the Most High is always watching him. Here the Most High is saying that he sees the affliction of his people with the 12 tribes being afflicted in ancient Egypt. And he says he knows what they are going through. So whether you are able to pray or not. The Most High does know what you are going through. He knows that you are being afflicted. Even here in modern Egypt, he knows that. Continue reading.
Verse 8. And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land unto a good land and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey.
Now, when the Moses says that he was going to take us to a land flowing with milk and honey, does it literally mean milk and the honey from the bee? Is that what he was referring to? Huh? What was he referring to? Come on, I want to hear from some of you. You always engage in amount in other ways other than in class. Come on, little one, sit yourself. Oh, so the mouth was engaged, but the ears wasn't engaged. Read that part again about milk and honey.
And to bring them up out of that land, and to the good land, and a large, and to a land flowing with milk and honey.
Right, I was asking the question if the most I was referring to the literal milk and that to drink and honey from the bee. What was he referring to? Yeah, well, talk up.
The Israelite better people that they like relatively happy and good.
No, he was referring to a particular land. Why did he say that it was a land flowing with milk and honey? Esau wasn't there in Egypt. It was Esau was a person here in Egypt, you know. Well, sis?
It's gonna be a rich life.
Rich as in?
Rich, like a lot of things. So the expression of riches is like me.
All right. The word you should be using probably isn't rich. Well, not fruitful. Yes. It was a land that was fruitful. Whatever you plant, you know, like Canaanite here. This is some cherry. Big. You see some fruits over here. This is a fruitful land, isn't it? With controversial water supply. With good water supply. With good and controversial water supply. But it's a good land. It meaning that it was a land that was fruitful. All right, continue reading.
And to the place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites.
So these are the renowned people that was in the land. Think of the Most High now taking you into a land today that have, take for instance, America, Babylon. Who is in Babylon that is powerful? There is, no, I wouldn't say Esau. Why? Because here you could just say the Canaanites. But here, these are the ones that he names. These are Canaanites. They are all Canaanites. Or the Hivites, Jebusites, all them. They are all Canaanites. In other words, they are all Hamites that was in the land. But check America now. Why are they rich and powerful? They have the Germans. They have German descendants there. Italian descendants. The New York cops seem to be controlled by the Irish descendants. Irish gang. Maybe what we need to study in America and Hispanic. I don't know. Because the police does operate like a gang. Cops over there does operate like a gang. Because just the other day I was reading a story about a female back in the, was it 80s? Who, just like how they were choking George Floyd, she was a black cop. And she challenged that white officer who was choking a black person. And like he was in the process of choking, and he said, hey, stop that, you're going to kill him. And guess what? She was fired. She was fired. But now they are saying that they're going to have to review her case because based on the law, she was unjustly removed from the force. She was removed saying that she was not a team player. But what did she do? She stood up for, so that showed that this racism is really state, meaning pushed by the state, by the government, or those in authority, because they fired her, this city fired her. But now that if they should review and things come in her favor, then they would have to pay her pension now, because I think she's now, probably she's at the age now that she would have been retired. So she would have to get her pension. Probably back salary too. That would be good. But these are the affliction that the Most High is saying that he hears. Just like Egypt before. Where are we now? Verse 1. Continue.
Exodus chapter 3, verse 9. Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them.
Right. So he's saying that he sees what is happening to them by the Hamites. So we were oppressed by one Hamite tribe and promised the land of another Hamite tribe. That's what was happening. Continue.
Verse 10. Come now therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people.
So the Most High sees the oppression and he chooses a physical person to go and fight the battle. But in that time, the battle was not carnal. Just like now, it wasn't an army that he set up to go out and ride horses and chariots against and take up arms against the Egyptians. All right, that's it. Let me know to Exodus 14. Reading 13 and 14.
Exodus chapter 14, verse 13 to 14, verse 13. And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still, and see the salvation. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever.
All right. So this is deliverance that the Most High was bringing to Israel. The Egyptians that you see now, that you see out there, this point was after the 10 plagues that the Most High would have used to plague Egypt, bring them out the land. They were just bring them out of the land of Egypt into the wilderness, and they were now being pursued by the Egyptians. Now Moses said to them, these Egyptians that you see, think of it in today's term. I say, see these Egyptians, take a good look at them. Because it's the last you are going to see them. You shall see them no more, forever. So take a good look at them. And the people, of course, they doubted. Because what they saw in front of them was carnality. They saw a physical army in front of them, or behind them, and in front of them was the sea. So them said, Lord, we're dead now. Think of you today, what would you say? Lord Jesus Christ, they won't kill me now. We're dead now. See, Moses don't know what I'm doing now. And care we know if we come back, then kill you out there. Better we stay in Egypt and serve them rather than to come out here and die. That's what they said. But the Most High working through Moses told Moses what to do. Now this is what they call following by faith. Because Moses, when he was told to bring the people in this direction, he didn't know what the Most High had planned. After he reached out and the Most High said, stretch out the rod. That was when he saw the water being parted. And it took all night for the Most High to part the water and to dry up all the mud that would have been at the bottom, so that they went over on dry, firm land. Because they were all in, today we might say mule and dray, where they were all in carts, and they had flocks of animals. Because remember, we left Egypt with everything that we had in it. If you had 2 goats, you carry your goat. You had cows, you carry them. So it was, think of a large contingent of people and animals moving, with people of all ages, old and young, coming now, going across that water. And they did go across the water, didn't they? Of course. And the Egyptians did pursue after them. And they were seen no more. It's like similarity with this now is what is to happen in America, because they have one faction of white saying they're pushing for globalization, another faction led by Trump saying it's a murder that should be. So you know what's going to happen? Trump going to lose, and his people is going to fight. They are going to take to the street, and they are going to fight. And who are they going to fight? Not the children of Israel, each other. That's what is going to happen. So it's a similar thing. The Most High knows how to get rid of your enemies. Read on 10.
Verse 14. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall
14.
hold your peace.
Exodus 14 and 14. Where am I? Yeah, go on. Oh, it's finished.
Yes.
Right. The Lord shall fight for you, and you shall. What do you mean by you shall hold your peace? Who want to explain that part?
It means that we're going to the war, so we should be, because it's the most work.
Well, I won't tell you anything. In this case, he said you will see the Lord fighting your enemies, the Egyptian, and you won't get involved. You shall hold your peace. Meaning you shall sit and watch them battling with the water. But they didn't know that when Moses said this, they didn't know what was to come in. They only hear that and they say, it's just like somebody going through some hard time and you as a priest of the Most High go to them and say, you know, the Most High is going to free you, you know. And don't worry, it will come. And then look on you and they say, this pain that I am and this I'm going, what are you giving me physically? What doing for me? You're just telling me that the Lord is going to fight for me. It's not going to happen. That's what they say. That's what they say. Well, it was the same thing with Moses. Moses said, the Lord is going to fight for you and you are going to hold your peace. But we just can't take it. Can't believe that. At that time, remember at that time they knew nothing much about the Most High. This great anomaly was right there before them. They saw the cloud of the pillar of fire and the cloud of darkness. And it was the same thing, like a wall. One side giving light to them and the next side giving darkness to the Egyptians. They saw that. Yet still, they went in the desert and they rebelled against Moses. I will make him leader over us. Eh? Who choose him? Who vote for him? And the Most High is eliminating that today. That is why, you know, we're going through what we're going through. Because in Babylon, you know, he's going to let your enemies fall before your eyes. And guess what? There's nothing you can do. Those who love the oppressor, when he starts falling, there's nothing you'll be able to do to save him. So he's going to fall left standing, or if you are in close proximity to him, you are going to fall with him. That's what is to come. Just like look at the demonstration for George Floyd. UPK was out speaking, showing the people that this is the side you have to be on. And to prove that this is the side that you're going to be on, The Most High let one of the oppressor come and kiss one of the prophet's feet. So what do you think the Most High is going to do? Well, go ahead, die with him. Obviously you don't want to see the oppressor fall. You have no love for your people, you have the love for the oppressor. That's like what they call it again. What kind of syndrome they call it again? Forgot the name. What is the name for it? Alright, Deuteronomy 28. Chapter 15, you know, chapter 15 is a psalm. Alright, where is we going now? Deuteronomy 28. Alright, Deuteronomy 28. So after this battle with the Most High and our enemies, the Most High now take us into the wilderness and gave us laws and statutes and now made us a nation with rules. Because you know if you don't have rules, you're not a nation. Alright, verse 1 says what?
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. If thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day.
So the Most High gave us rules in this form and put it in a covenant. That covenant between Israel, who are the blacks, Hispanics, and natives today, and himself. And the Most High says, if you keep these rules that I'm giving to you, you as a people will be above all other people. So the Most High is now setting the standard for battle between we and our oppressor, are those who seek to oppress us. Continue.
That the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Set us above all nations if we follow his commands. Right? Verse 2.
Verse 2. And all these blessings shall come unto thee, and overtake thee. Thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Try to take off some of the echo after. I have to come on get an extra beside that. So this is it. All these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. So if we follow these rules that he's given to us, then for generation to generation, from eon to eon, you will be on top of these nations. But you know how curious then that child is going to figure what if and go in the fire, right? Huh? Yeah, just like you, children growing up, and your parents say to you, don't talk to that man out the road, you know. That man raised a fishing around you. Don't talk to him. But you know just has to be the curious person that you are and to see why mommy don't want me to talk to the man there. Because I like she don't like me, Don't. Huh? Oh, no, answer. It didn't go like that. Yes, because you just want to see what would happen if you go there and talk to him. Don't. And then after you find out what happened, you don't even have the sense to say, oh, that's what mommy meant. You turn around and you blame it and there, this and there, that, but you never say, some ideas. You have never said that I am arduous and I don't listen. You blame, you blame, you blame men in general because of your own ideas. But that is how we are as a people. Drop down to 15.
Verse 15. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. A nation of
15. 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 11. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
All right. So we want to know what happened if we don't listen to the Most High's voice. It was there written, all these curses. So maybe we were just curious as to what curses mean. And rather than we try and go and find a dictionary and find what curses mean. But what curses mean again? Who's Googling it? Googling this? Curses, what's that? In terms of the scriptures. Finance?
Trying to get it down and
All right, we'll give it from the Bible dictionary. On the divine level to impose judgment. So this is the curse here is imposition of judgment or punishment for not doing something. Right? Understood? So the curse is that the Most High is referring to here now. is listed in Deuteronomy 28, verse 16 to what? 68? Alright, read 16. What 16 says?
Verse 16. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field.
That basically sums it up. Country and town. If you go country, you're cursed. If you go town, you're cursed. Right? So if you want to know what are the things that would happen to you, you can read the rest of it. But in the meantime, take me to S. Interesting. It's a very interesting story. It's a very interesting story in the Most High fighting battles for his people. Esther and 16.
Esther 4.
Book of Esther. Find Esther 4? Right, read verse 16.
Esther chapter 4, verse 16. Go gather together all Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me.
Alright, so give a little background that led up to that. Esther was the niece of a Jew named Mordecai. But they kept it private because they were in captivity. They didn't want, Mordecai didn't want people to know that Esther was a Jew. Because the Jew was being despised. Obviously not because of skin color, but because of tradition. Because Esther was able to go into the court of the king and marry the king. And the king not knowing that she was Jew. Right? So obviously it's not skin color. It was the tradition, the way you dress and so on. But Mordecai didn't care about himself as to that. Anyway, Mordecai worked at the palace, on the palace grounds. I think he was a gatekeeper. And there was one man there who named Haman. Haman now was an enemy of the Jews. Mordecai recognized that he was an enemy of the Jews. And he gave him no reverence. When he was coming in, when the king made him prime minister, and he was coming into the court, and the other gatekeepers would go down and bow down to him, Mordecai stand and look as if he's looking through him. No recognition for it. And it hurt Haman to the core. Now, Haman used his position power to fight against the Jew. He built a gallows that he said that this gallows is to hang to hang Mordecai, and he used his power to send out decrees that on a particular day, wherever the Jews are living, the people should come down on them and kill them on that particular day. So think of how, I didn't even show again that they made. I swear that shows me from this Esther story. You know. They call it again that one day in which all punishment for crime suspended. You know, it was a show. The Purge. Right. So Haman uses power and authority to create something like the Purge. That day will come down. That day, wherever it is found, I learn of that. And Mordecai rent his clothes and put ashes and went in sackcloth and ashes and he went into mourning. Went out in the street naked in mourning. Well, today if you do that, you're mad. So, Esther now, after becoming the king, the queen, was told that her uncle was out there mourning. And then 4 and 16.
Ye for me. No, sorry.
Start over, man.
Esther chapter 4, verse 16. Go gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan.
Shushan is the palace. So all the Jews that work in this palace here and gather them together. Yeah.
And the fast 3 days, and my maiden will fast likewise. And so will I go in unto the king, which is not according to the law. And if I perish...
Why she said not according to the law, meaning that at that you don't approach the king unless you are being called. You just turn up on the palace not knowing what you are for. Unless he hold out that golden scepter to you, you are a dead person. Gods are going to kill you. So if after the king see you and recognize you and doesn't put out that golden scepter to you, you are a dead person. So that's why she says, which is not according to law. And if I perish, I perish. So I'm saying, all right, I'm going. And she said, but I can't, for the past month or two, the king hasn't called me to court. I can't just go before the king. And then Mordecai managed to convince her, and she said, okay, get all the Jews in Shushan to fast 3 days for me. After that, and I and my maidens will fast as well. After that 3 days fast, I will go before the king. If he kill me or something. That's what she said. Alright, that is one. 16. Doing some terrible things. Sorry, having some terrible plans. Now, Ammon was an Agagite. Agagites were descendants of Esau. So you see, Esau always want to kill us all. Go down to go to chapter 6. Reading from verse 6.
Esther chapter 6, verse 6.
Reading 6 to 13. Continue.
So Haman came in, and the king said unto him...
Alright, so Haman, at this moment now, Haman was out in the courtyard. And the king rose up and said, you know, the king, he cannot sleep. His mind, he was troubled. And then he wake up and he check the records, and it was written right there in the records. And he said, what did I do to repay Mordecai? Nothing was done. And he said, he asked his guards, who out there in the courtyard? And they say, Haman. And he said, all right, tell Haman to come in. So Haman come in now, read that. Start it over. 6, yeah.
Esther chapter 6, verse 6. So Haman came in, and the king said unto him, what shall be done unto the man whom the king delighted to honor? Now Haman thought in his heart, to whom would the king delight to do honor more than to myself?
Right, so Haman now said, what? King want to honor me. Good. Alright, continue.
Verse 7.
The king asked him now, what can I do to honor somebody that I delighted to honor. So honor amante. Me that didn't me wanna read on.
Verse 7. And Haman answered the king, for the man whom the king delighted to honor. Verse 8. Let the royal apparel be brought which the king used to wear, and the horse that the king rideth upon, and the crown royal which is set upon his head.
So I'm saying now, put this man in, because in his heart it's him. Put this man in the king's apparel, on the king's chariot, with the crown that the king continued.
And let his apparel and horse be delivered to the hand of one of the king's most noble princes, that they may array the man withal whom the king delighted to honor, and bring him on horseback through the streets of the city, and proclaim before him, thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delighted to honor.
Right, so this man who you want to honor, get the highest prince under the king to ride this man through the city in the king's apparel and proclaim before him that the king is honoring this man. Because in his heart, it's him. So the king, in his heart, the king is asking him, how can I honor you? But that wasn't the case. Continue reading.
Verse 10. Then the king said to Haman, make haste and take and do even so to Mordecai, the Jew that sitteth at the king's gate. Let nothing fail of all that thou hast spoken.
Right. So he is the highest prince now, you know. But if he was the one to be honored, then it would be the prince below him, or who would have been the governor below him, who would honor him. But the man who the king wanted to honor is the same man that he was planning to kill. So the king says, okay, make haste, go get the man, go get the apparel, and you are going to do this to Haman, to Mordecai. And let nothing fail, just like you have said it. You are to do it just like you say. Continue.
Verse 11.
Now at this point, the king wasn't aware of what he was planning for the Jews. The king wasn't aware of it. Continue.
Verse 11. They harmed and arrayed Mordecai, and brought him on horseback through the streets of the city, and proclaimed before him, thus shall it be done unto the man whom the king delighted to honor.
Continue.
Verse 11. To his own mourning and having his head covered.
Alright. So Haman had to go now and honor the man who is same man who built the gallows from. He now has to go and honor this man. So he went home in shame. He went home in shame with his head hanging down. He said we were going to stop at 13, we're going to 14, I think. Yeah. Yeah, man, 13.
Verse 13. And Haman told Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends everything that had befallen him. He sent his wise men and cherished his wife unto him. Mordecai, be of the seed of the Jews, before whom thou art begun to fall, thou shalt not prevail against him.
He's saying that if Haman, if Mordecai is a, he went home now in shame and tell him wife and his wise men what happened to him. And his wife and wise men said, brethren, if Mordecai is of the seed of the Jew and you start falling before him, dog never suffer. You're going to continue falling and nothing shall save you. You shall surely fall before him, nothing shall save you. So this was what was happening to to Haman, while he was planning to kill Mordecai and the Jews. Continue.
Verse 14. And while they were yet talking with him, came the king, chamberlain, and hastened to bring Haman unto the banquet that Esther had prepared.
Right, so the king's chamberlain came for him now and said, the king needs you at a banquet, you know. So come, you are to go to the banquet of the king. All right, go to 7 now, verse 10. All right, before you do that, read 5 and 6. 7, 5 and 6.
Esther chapter 7, verse 5 to 6, verse 5. Then the king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther, the queen, who is he, and where is he, that durst presume in his heart to do so?
Right, so it is Esther now bring it before the king that someone is created mischief and trying to kill out the Jews. And she, who the king loves, is a Jew. So the king said, okay, so who is this man now? Bring him, let me know who this man is. Continue.
Verse 6. And Esther said, the adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman. And Haman was afraid before the king.
Because, right. So, Haman is there standing in the banquet, believing that, why, yeah, the king have a banquet and just me, the king, and the queen. No other prince not there. Yeah. Big things are going on for me now, you know. Not knowing that the Most High had a plan for him. This is how the Most High fight battles for his chosen people. When the enemy believes that he is being exalted, he is about to be over.
The adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman. And Haman was afraid before the king and the queen.
Right. Drop down to 10.
Verse 10. So they hanged Haman at the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified.
No, what